Alright. So, middle afternoon, I got 2 movies today, so we gotta make sure I get this done within an hour. That shouldn't be a problem. But, okay. So, we both agree, walking out of this movie, the advertising for this movie is awful. Really?
This is probably the worst,
most misleading advertising campaign.
Since...
22.
What?
Fuck you too.
Well, hello there.
I'm walking in. No, that's a lie. Just like this advertising campaign.
Yes. No, God, I don't know which came first. Scott Pilgrim and The Spirit both suffered from this, where they were advertised as something completely different than what they are. That being said, this movie was nothing like either of those.
Yeah, it's like the closest comparison I can think of to right now is like 22 Jump Street, and yeah, it was like one that was like really made it look like a stupid sex comedy. It was actually very, very clever.
All right.
Well, at least much more clever than I was expecting. So this, even that's not nearly as bad as this one though, where it's just like 2 entirely different movies.
I'm really like walking into this. So we should say what the movie is.
Yeah, A Welcome on the Tombstones. Yeah, you saw the title, you know it.
Exactly. Liam Neeson.
Okay, here's what the trailer shows.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson, look at him. He's a gun-toting PI. He's going door to door, kicking ass and taking names. The movie we got, a very slow-moving 80s crime drama.
Yeah, no, I was expecting, is it Taken 5?
Something like that, Taken 5 or 6. Grant has like the full list. So
exactly. So, but anyways, I was anticipating, another Taken. And
not even close.
That is not what this is.
It only comes close to the very end, and we'll get to that, but that was probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah. Well, this movie is dark.
It is very dark. But there is a bit of Liam Neeson kind of starts out with kind of an odd Brooklyn accent, which he very quickly drops, if you noticed.
Yes, yes he does.
Yeah, it's like a little, he's like a 14-year-old black sidekick. There's a few old, it kind of reminds me a lot of China, like old school Chinatown, except Chinatown was better. But it has the same kind of, there's some parts that are slightly, it's still very dark, but some parts are just slightly campy, slightly very, very old school. And to be clear on my stance on this, I actually really, really dug this movie. Like, a lot more than I thought I was going to. I really got into it. But that's because it does feel like paying an homage to, like, that old 80s style crime drama.
If I had known how dark this movie was going to be, there's a chance I wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah.
Like, alright, not dark, because I like a certain amount of, there's a lot of dark movies I enjoy. There's a certain amount of,
you're
graphic realism?
Yeah, I know you have problems with more realistic movies. But
yeah, no, we'll get into the details of it.
Yeah.
But, so we initially are introduced to him as a cop. He goes into this bar, restaurant kind of place in the middle of the afternoon, knocks on the countertop twice. The guy working at the place comes over, brings him a cup of coffee and 2 shots of whiskey.
As a bartender should.
Yeah, that's honestly, if you're using black coffee as your chaser for your whiskey, you, sir, are someone I don't want to find in a dark alley.
And yeah, that's still very appropriate. Who's texting me? Okay, yeah, sorry. I'm getting a text from the new person we're trying out later today.
Oh, so, fantastic. All right. Are they bailing on you?
No, not today. No.
So they don't know yet. All right.
No, she knows the movie she's seen. She just knows how bad it's going to be, apparently. You saw it already.
Yes, no, I saw Maze Runner last week, actually, and all in all, it wasn't terrible, but this is not about that, so let's focus. So he's there, just as he takes the second shot, these guys come in, the bartender tries to kick them out, and they shoot him.
Yep, big ass, double barrel shotgun, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a small little
Blow him away. Now this is all shown in the background, kind of out of focus, because the shot's focused on Liam Neeson's, and so you don't see the guys per se, but Liam Neeson comes stumbling out, drops his gun. They shoot at him once, don't hit him, and run out the door.
Meanwhile, I guess I only kind of assumed Jesus had his back during the first 5 or 7
Oh my
minutes.
god!
Because
blind luck through this whole scene because
in the first they realize Liam Neeson's there. He stumbles out of his booth. He drops out the ground. He goes to grab it just so he ducks to grab it. A big ass fucking buckshot just goes clear through his stall where his head would have been.
Yep.
And then he's walking back. 2 bullet holes go right through his trench coat on his left side. And I was oh my god.
No.
Liam Neeson just carried over his Zeus powers into this movie.
He guns the guys down, kills 2 of them, cripples the 3rd.
And then politely gets out of the way at the title card.
Yeah, exactly. But no, so it's...
And then we flash forward 9 years later.
Yes.
I kept forgetting this movie was in 1999. I kept forgetting that.
It's based in 99, which I think was fantastic because there's a lot of things in this movie that would have not been made not possible with smartphones.
And it kind of ties into the more 80s, 90s style crime drama too. You get that, so you can get away with doing the more old school stuff with the... Because think about it, the PI was a classic staple of crime dramas back then.
Totally.
Yeah. And I love those movies. I love them to death. So in this way, I guess I got a little nostalgic myself. It's oh, cool. It's when I saw kind of what the movie was going for, it's this is pretty. I haven't seen one of these in a long time.
Right?
So I'm totally okay with this. I mean, it's not a perfect movie, mind you. We'll get to some of the issues later, but
exactly. So you get this opening scene, jumps forward 9 years, and he's at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting.
Yes, which they tie to back. I guess I don't know how well the themes of alcoholism tie into the climax of the movie, but they have the narration go over it anyway.
They do have a narration going. The 12-step program is used towards the end of it, but
I don't really know how it ties in. I was trying to figure that out. I was I don't really see the similarities here.
The quick and dirty on the plot just to save us all time.
Yeah, fair enough.
A guy from one of the meetings meets Liam Neeson in a diner, asks him to come for a cab ride to meet with his brother. Liam Neeson meets with the brother, figures out the brother is a drug trafficker whose wife was abducted, and then when he paid the ransom, they gave her back to him in the trunk of an abandoned car, cut up and bagged like kilos of cocaine, which is the first of many horribly
there's some fucked up shit.
Yeah, extremely graphic, but at the same time, not really unrealistic.
I mean, I've seen worse. I've seen worse. Prisoners last year was worse than this.
Okay. I avoid slasher movies because of how graphic, and often realistic they can try to be with the gore. When it's over the top, it's almost funny. In this case, every bit of graphic gore, honestly, it's believable.
Yeah,
it works really well, and
it's that and just some of the it's even the movies itself. It doesn't really show much of the violence, the really graphic stuff. It doesn't really show it.
No, they leave it to your mind,
and that's sometimes worse.
Exactly.
Worse.
So
there's a scene later on where the 2 serial killers have to don't have to, but they choose to cut off a kidnappee's one of their breasts, and it was you don't need to show me that. My mind do the rest. And it's that's really fucking disturbing.
Right? That's not okay.
Yeah. On average, yeah, that's pretty not okay. I don't think it needs to be said. If it does need to be said,
yeah, so
the police will be at your door shortly.
Exactly. So Liam Neeson takes the job to find these guys. And in the process of doing so, learns enough about it that he decides to give up. He just kind of gets out of it because he's these guys are sickos. I can tell you, rough concept of who they are, but you don't want to encounter them. And when he goes to return the money, the brother of the guy who hired him, the same guy who came to him and asked him to take him on this cab ride.
Peter, I think his name was.
Yeah, Peter says, I gotta take you to this place. These guys have taken someone else, and it turns out that it's you already found out watching the movie that it's this Russian guy's daughter. They were originally planning to take the wife, but it turns out the wife is bedridden with some sort of condition that leaves her comatose or something. She's she can't move, she can't blink. They're frequently throughout the scenes with her putting teardrops in her eyes to keep the eyes from drying out. And as they do when they discover that the wife is bedridden, they decide to give up the job, and then they see that he has a daughter, and so these murderers who are taking the wives of drug traffickers as their targets because drug traffickers have a lot of cash.
Yeah, and it's also worth knowing that these people basically work for the DEA.
They don't.
They don't. I thought that's what...
No, so it's explain. Okay, so the first victim these guys kill is this woman, who Liam Neeson finds out was DEA. And what happened is they killed her and took her files.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, that makes sense.
And so, yeah, both of these killers.
I was confused by that point. I was going to ask you about that. But.
Yeah, so there's that situation. That's how they got their hands on the files and how they're doing this. They are fairly intelligent killers.
Yeah, they are.
Like they handle things wisely. Again, their whole concept falls apart as you move past the year 2000 into the age of A, smartphones, and B, a lack of payphones. This movie really hinges on payphones and a lack of caller ID.
It's like that Robot Chicken episode. It's like, hey man, I'm calling you to payphone. Yeah, you remember those? Yeah, okay, bye. Click.
So, they, where was it? So yes, they've taken this Russian guy's daughter. Liam Neeson does the whole telephone thing to negotiate, and
Dude, that was awesome.
yeah, it's really like I'm sitting there the whole movie waiting for the Liam Neeson. I have a certain set of skills.
Yeah, that's like you literally just said it. There it is. Like as soon as it pops
exactly.
up.
As soon as he actually starts talking to them, it's like here we go. Well, and then it takes a turn, and it's like whoa. This is kind of dark, proper negotiating going on right here.
I know, that's one thing I did like about this movie, though, is this is probably my favorite Liam Neeson characters. That's because he just does not give a shit about anything.
It's true. He is out of fucks.
And he just calls everyone out on everything. It's great. Like,
exactly.
There's a great little scene, like it's when the part, I guess the police department starts to catch on what Liam Neeson's investigating, so they start stalking him and start tracking him. And there's a part where he catches on what's going on, and he notices one of the police officers tailing him. He doesn't know he's a police officer, so he walks around the corner and hides in a door with a little bit of window in there,
wraps his scarf around his hand,
and he just waits there for the guy to come in.
And he waits. And then the guy walks away.
And then he just knocks on the window.
So he knocks on the window, and the guy comes back so he can punch through the window.
And I was like, that is amazing.
Like, that is...
the kind of movie it is. Right?
That is some serious, video game logic being used right there. Like, nothing's here, I'm gonna walk away. Oh, there's a knock on the window. I should go look. Who...
Either way, it was great. Like, are you kidding?
It was freaking hilarious and awesome, but one of the least realistic portions of the film.
Well, yeah.
So,
Liam Neeson barely kills anyone in this movie. I counted. I think he only killed four people. Yeah, 4 people.
4? Yeah. Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like this is like the lowest body count in Liam Neeson since.
Wow. Yeah, I know.
Since like fucking Narnia, this is like the lowest body count.
Exactly. So.
Well, I think Neeson's personally responsible for. I should add.
Yes.
But, what about I said? Lion King?
Over the course of the whole movie, you have this subplot going on of him dealing with TJ, who is a probably about 14, 15-year-old.
Something like that. Yeah.
African-American kid who's living on the streets after his mother abandoned him. Liam Neeson meets him in the library.
And
the
old school newspaper.
Yeah, the old school newspaper reel. As the kid winds up showing him how to use Yahoo. Because again, it's set in 1999, and
the internet was still a fairly new thing.
Yeah, no, actually, that was the year my family got the internet. So
remember, that was high-speed internet a thing back then? No, we had the
28K, and if you were really good, you had a 56K modem.
Oh my god. Took like an hour to load one porn photo.
Yeah.
Thank you, 80s robot.
So, here's this guy. He's kind of he's an artist. He's doing sketches and whatnot.
And he's a black stereotype character.
Falls into a law, yeah.
Like straight from if this movie was made back in like the 90s with older people, it would have been played by Chris Tucker.
If everyone, if you were around in the 90s and you thought, what would a 14-year-old black kid from Brooklyn talk like?
It would be this kid.
Here's this character.
Like, this is the same kid that was in fucking Earth to Echo. He was terrible in that movie. He's slightly better here.
I liked him a lot in this movie.
I mean, he's better here. Even then, I wasn't entirely sold on him by movie's end. I mean, he was fine. But even then, I was like, for me, it was just Liam Neeson just not giving two shits about anything. It's kind of refreshing.
This kid, despite being, homeless and whatnot, he's vegetarian, doesn't drink soda, is very, aware of his body. We find out later on that it's because he has sickle cell
anemia, yeah.
And so he's very, it's caused this much more awareness in him.
It comes to the logical point, though, is why would Liam Neeson ever leave him alone? Because he never followed a single order of his to not do anything.
Right?
So you think he's like, okay, fine, you're coming with me because you're clearly not going to do what I tell you to do.
I don't know. Maybe it was either this kid's audition to be the companion or Liam Neeson's audition to be the next doctor. But you have this consistent thing in Doctor Who where it's like, stay here, do X, and they will immediately do the entire alphabet but X. WYZ, that's it, right?
I would love to see Liam Neeson as Doctor Who. That'd be fantastic. It would actually get me to watch Doctor Who. Because, have you seen that skit with that guy from the Muppets 2? What's his name? Oh, Ricky Gervais?
Yes.
Where it's like Liam Neeson trying to do comedy.
Yes.
It was like, okay, we're working in a bar, and you come in and he goes, I have AIDS. It's like, okay, Liam, that's not very funny. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I have super AIDS, or something like that. I don't remember how the sketch goes, something like that.
Gosh.
Where it's like, no matter what he did, it somehow make it horribly depressing.
All right.
Have you never seen that?
I have not.
I'll show you. I'll send you a link later, but it's amazing.
So, anyways, you got this guy. He's he's an aspiring detective who wants to follow in Liam Neeson's footsteps.
But he has to have a cool name.
He's got to have a cool name.
He really does act like a young Chris Tucker.
So, yeah, I liked his performance.
I'm sorry, more Chris Rock. That's what I'm thinking of.
There we go.
Rush Hour
that makes much more sense.
Chris Rock. Sorry.
So, even still, I liked his performance. It would be, if you took this story, which has kind of a sad, kind of a downplay ending, and
I was fine with.
You made another film with, this kid 10 years later, and leave Liam Neeson out of it. He's not a character. You don't have any of the callbacks, anything. You just use the character's name. I would watch that. And it could be entertaining, no. Because he wasn't that much of a comedic role. He wasn't hyperactive spastic that Chris Rock often plays.
No, you're right. But I noticed similarities. There were some similarities. It was basically you need a cool detective name, like so-and-so and so-and-so. And he was talking a little bit like Chris Rock.
He stole a Minnesota quarterback's name.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great name for a detective.
What was the name?
Horrible name for a guy. It was, Dante something Pepper.
Oh, yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about now. It's I actually have a friend whose last name is Kilborn, and I was like,
that's a good name.
I was like, that's an amazing name. Don't ever change it.
Yes,
you will be the star of your own action franchise.
Yes.
But anyway, back to the movie. Like I said, it was just a pretty solid, just kind of old school crime mystery conspiracy movie. And there's a part there's very little action in it, to be honest. There's a few parts.
Not until the climax.
Until the climax. And even then, there's some teases. It's actually kind of a cock tease at one point, because there's this gardener, a groundskeeper at a graveyard that Liam Neeson discovers, because the first body of these killers apparently was dumped at a graveyard. So he go to this caretaker, and he goes, who immediately comes out, Liam Neeson shows him his badge. He goes, oh, but they told me to take a week to get here, so I can follow you around for a long time for my book. And then he goes, and then the disappointed look on his face, when he realized
that Liam Neeson is not there to give him a ride along to help his book. It's suddenly we're all curious. What's the book?
I felt kind of bad for him. Oh, you just totally shattered his dreams, man.
So Liam Neeson tails him I love that we don't even call him by his character's name. It's just Liam Neeson in the movies. It's a tall Irishman in a sweater. It's Liam Neeson. What do you need?
It's Neeson season.
You know. But anyway, so he, tails him, winds up finding his place, and actually reads a couple lines from the manuscript of the book, which is really entertaining.
Which made it sound like 50 Shades of Grey or something.
Exactly. And then finally, you're just waiting for this guy to show up.
And he does.
And he's holding a big knife.
He's holding a big knife, and he goes, I'm sorry, I can't let you leave here. And Liam just goes, what would be worse? You dropping that knife, or me stabbing you in the throat with it? and he looks at me, can you do that? Like,
yes, I can. I don't want to, but I can. He's like, okay.
Okay, yeah, that's convincing enough. I'd do it too.
Yes.
Because like you said, you look at Liam Neeson and goes, yeah, I'm not fucking around here.
Exactly.
You listen. You don't fucking around, Liam Neeson.
As far as his luck in the first scene with all the guys shooting at him and the bullets don't even touch him, that's an Irishman after a couple shots. That's...
I'll call my Scottish friend to see if this is true.
We'll never even do it on purpose. We really can't. But man, the stupidest stuff has happened in a fight after I've had a couple drinks where I'm just like, I shouldn't be that lucky. There's no way that should have happened that way.
Wait, are you Irish?
Among many other things.
Crazy, narcissistic.
Scottish, Cherokee. It all works in there.
Gonna cook some wabbit. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, like overall, if you're like a fan of just old school crime dramas like I am, you will really dig this movie. I mean, again, it's not perfect. Like I said, the advertising campaign is way the fuck off. If you're expecting like an action, this also reminds me of a very similar Liam Neeson movie that also had terrible advertising, which was The Grey.
And that was great too.
I loved The Grey. I thought The Grey was a great underrated movie, but it had the same problem as like it was advertised as like a Liam Neeson versus the Wild movie, and it really wasn't. It was a contemplative movie of being stuck in the wild and death. So.
Yep. One of my favorite things about The Grey is everyone. The struggle is which is going to kill you, nature or the wolves. Like
like the wolves only kill like one or two of them.
It's an even split.
Yeah.
Everyone who dies in that movie, like, it's half of the guys in the team wind up being killed just by hypothermia, falling, whatever.
Drowning,
The world kills them. And the other half are killed by wolves.
Well, it's like the single most badass, like, Liam Neeson shot in all of history.
It's true. You have to wonder, does Liam Neeson kill the wolf?
Actually, I have the after credits scene that shows, could have been one way or another. It's kind of what it does.
All right.
Like, you see Liam Neeson's leaning against the wolf who's still, like, kind of breathing, so you don't really know if, like, he's alive or dead. But either way, for those who haven't seen The Grey, we're going to talk about it a little bit because The Grey's an awesome movie. You should go see it. Apparently, Community disagrees with me on this. I don't know if do you watch Community?
Whenever I can, but not frequently.
Fair enough. But the movie ends with like Liam Neeson facing off against the alpha wolf. He has like a knife duct taped in one hand and like 3 broken alcoholic bottles in the other hand, and it just comes out like this, and then we just ends like that. People got pissed off at the end of the fight. It's like, I don't need to see the fight. That is better in my imagination.
Nothing is going to live up to that.
Exactly. So it's like it's better that they don't. But Community made a joke about that, where I guess Abed like accidentally took Jeff's Netflix password, so he's been using it. And he goes, "Is that what my rating on The Grey keeps changing?" He goes, "Yeah, stop giving it 4 stars." It's like, it's like, but I like Liam Neeson. Then make a critique about his movies. But anyway, we digress. It's like really, to summarize, it's like if you're just looking for a good old style movie, this is a good one to go to. Like, it really does feel like it. I really got into it. It's better than when Netflix giving it, not Netflix, Rotten Tomatoes giving it. So
it's rated R.
It is,
and it definitely should be.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna like, if I had friends who are into these kinds of movies, yeah, I'd take them to see it. If I had a kid brother who wanted to go see it, I'd tell him to wait a while. You know.
Now, like, the one, I think the part that I did like, we talked about briefly, is the part where Liam Neeson finally does get on the phone, and he basically keeps fucking with the kidnappers.
Exactly.
While actually doing, like, the thing that you probably should do, which is, like, because at this point, for some reason, drug traffickers are really trusting in this movie.
Right?
Yeah, that kind of bugged me. It's like, wow, for drug traffickers, you guys are really trusting these kidnappers will keep their word. I would think that you have some...
Well, and trusting of Liam Neeson, that he's gonna do his job, and what, like... what evidence do we, like, we don't start the movie with Liam Neeson catching some guy for some drug trafficking guys, and they're like, oh, this guy's solid. No. The drug trafficker's druggy brother says, I know a guy from an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. What the hell?
That leads to another point, though. Like, towards the end of the movie, they set up this elaborate meetup where they meet up with the little girl, and Liam Neeson gives them money, but they have, like, the drug-abusing brother was in the army, has a rifle pointed at them. It's like, these guys are fairly wealthy drug traffickers. Right. Are you willing to tell me you can't hire anyone, like, one of your men can't hold a gun? I'm sure you got people. You got a big-ass fucking house in the middle of New York City. That shit ain't cheap. Or is it L.A.? What? No, it was New York, because they make the L.A. joke later in the movie.
Well, you know, man, it was the recession. You couldn't hire as many guys at that point.
Oh, man, that what it was? I guess that's the moral of the story. It's like, even traffickers need Liam Neeson's help every once in a while.
The great drug trafficking recession of '99. We all remember it well.
Back then, it was Stallone that was doing the saving, but you know!
Exactly. There were still struggles going on that hadn't fully converted over to the kilo.
Oh, those were dark times.
Like, was it those 2.9 pounds? What was it? Oh, man.
And then there's, like, the part where Peter ends up getting shot and killed in the movie, and before that's revealed that Peter secretly loved his brother's wife. So yes. His dying words to his always looked pissed off brother was, you need to know, I loved. He goes, I love you too, brother. Right and before he dies. I was like, oh, man.
Well, and this whole climactic scene, which is in the graveyard where the second body was dumped, which was the killing, which the weird guy with the weird, we were all wondering about the book, he was the wheelman for it, and because he showed them where the woman was and everything.
Yeah.
All of it just seriously messed up.
Yeah.
But as they do this, they're going through, and you've got this woman in an AA meeting who is reading as narration over the scene the 12-step program.
Yeah, which kind of was it was kind of an odd choice to me. I mean, I guess it works as a dramatic overture, but at the same time, it's hard to relate it to what's going on in the movie.
Well, there are parts of it where it lined up really well, and like for instance, at this scene where the brother dies, it's step 9 where you have to make the apologies, and as he makes the as he's starting to make the apology, he then dies. As his brother says he loved him too, and it finishes step 9, which is. You don't apologize if it would cause them or those around them harm.
I mean, at the same time, I mean, some of it did apply, but other parts, like, just, I don't really know what to think about that. So it's like if I read the recipe for chicken noodle soup.
Well, the problem is,
narration.
It then goes for like 7 minutes before we get to step 10. And I was just like, wait, are we still doing this? Holy crap, I thought we were just stopping at 9 because it was a nice dramatic note. And then they finished the other steps and everything through the rest of the film, and it's just like...
See, the AA just took a break.
Most of the movie...
All right, but we're back in 10 minutes. Everyone gets some soda and some punch. I don't know if that's actually AA works. Don't get mad at me.
You've never been to one. No. You drunk. So...
I have admitted to drinking before some of these movies, so I'm not...
But anyways, most of the movie is pretty well paced. Like, I'm interested. I'm never losing touch as the movie moves through. This is one part, where this narration just doesn't quite work.
Yeah. And just go back to drinking. Just to be fair, it was movie 42 that did it.
No one can blame you for that. The first step is admitting the problem.
Anyway, you were saying.
So, so they're working through all this as the guys are escaping. Liam Neeson, there's all sorts of shooting. Liam Neeson has way more bullets than any gun should.
Yeah, really.
They show that he had a box of ammunition. They didn't show he had any extra clips.
That's true, they didn't, did they?
So there should have been like some 90-second, if he's really good, 90 seconds of him.
Well, there was the same problem in the intro scene too, although I didn't end up reloading, I think. But we forgot to mention the big twist with that too.
Oh yes, so you find out when, so the kid has this attack of the sickle cell anemia. Liam Neeson goes to see him in the hospital, and he tells the kid asks him why he stopped being a cop, And he explains that one of the shots he fired while he was, trying to take these guys out, because it was not just 3 bullets, 3 done.
No, it was bang, bang. It was like Stormtrooper syndrome.
Yeah, no, a lot of shooting going on, which when you're drunk is kind of the number of bullets you need.
Don't go shooting drunk.
No, don't go shooting, period. But also, especially not drunk. That being said, one of them, apparently, he says it bounced wrong, and it hit a 7-year-old girl in the eye. And they show the bloody eye socket.
I know, it's like, oh my god.
Like, as I said, there's some graphic nature to this film that I'm just like, why would you do this? But yeah, so it's... Yeah, so that's what the twist is in his background of why he's no longer a cop and why he quit.
Yeah, because every PI has one story.
Exactly. So, for the most part, the whole thing's got some great pacing, some great storytelling. I really like the characterization. There's some depth to a lot of the characters that are archetypes that would not normally be given depth. Your sidekick is normally just an assistant to the main character. The building in of him being vegetarian, sickle cell, aspiring detective, and he's intelligent. He's not,
Yeah.
He's in many ways as smart or smarter than Liam Neeson. He's just a lot less experienced.
I guess you can make that argument. I'm not sure it goes that far, but I do see what you're saying.
So,
like, even the serial killers are given some level of complexity.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some depth to the serial killers. They are some seriously intelligent and messed up individuals.
Yes, very much so. Who like to cut boobs out for some reason. I don't want to think about that.
If you go watch this movie and you feel that you can relate to the killers, get help. Please, like, really,
Or do what Liam Neeson suggested to the kid.
No, just get help. Get help,
For what I'm referring to is a part where...
the kid has a gun.
The kid has a gun, and of course, like, the guys come back for the gun later, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Like, he stole the gun off 2 gangsters who inevitably come back for it, but Liam Neeson's like, do you even know how to fucking use that thing? And the kid's like, oh yeah, I know how to use it. Show me how you would hold it. And he does, like, the sideways shot, and I can hear his, 40-year-old virgin guy.
Oh, yeah, shouting kill shot. It's a kill shot.
It's like, oh, he's pointing sideways, it's a kill shot. It's a kill shot.
But he walks him through the process of, here's how you take the clip out. Now put the clip back in. Remember when the clip's out, there's one still in the chamber.
On. And we both expect the same thing. Both like, he's going to actually fire it off. And then he goes, now put it to your head and pull the trigger. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I like how your version of Liam Neeson's voice is Batman.
I can't do Liam Neeson.
That's okay. I'm still entertained by it. Because I'm not going to lie. Liam Neeson as Batman, I'd see that. Like,
he already was. He was called Darkman, but it was kind of the same thing. That's why I was like, this whole thing's a prequel to Darkman, or maybe a sequel. I don't know. But either way, like, for some reason, like, Mysterion from South Park popped in my head. Do you watch South Park? I forget.
Again, here and there, but not with any frequency.
There's this part, like, Kenny, dons a superhero genre called Mysterion, and he realized they finally acknowledge the fact that he can't die, because he dies, he gets back to life so many damn times.
Nice.
They finally acknowledged it, and they finally, there's a point where, like, someone puts a gun to his head, and he literally just puts a gun to his head, like, go on, do it, you pussy. He has, like, the Batman voice, too. It's like, pull the trigger.
Nice.
That's all I could think of when Liam Neeson was doing that monologue.
Yep.
Was little kid Kenny going, pull the trigger, you pussy, go ahead, do it.
So, alright, we are on a timetable, unfortunately.
Yes.
So we should knock out trailers, which I totally missed.
Yes.
In order for me to make it to the movie, I wound up running late, traffic was a pain and whatnot.
You literally showed up.
Yeah, like, I walk in as the Universal Fanfare is playing, It
was like, wow, that was good.
Yeah.
So, you can just chime in if you know any of these trailers. First one we got is for Men, Women, and Children, which is a movie directed by that same guy who directed Up in the Air and Juno.
Okay.
And I really liked Up in the Air. I think Up in the Air is a great movie. Juno has not aged particularly well, but Up in the Air is a great movie. Apparently it's just premiered at the film festival not too long ago, and the reviews have been kind of like, so-and-so. But I guess it's like trying to take on like social media and like trying to be over-controlling or too lax on it, that kind of thing. So I'll be curious to see where it goes. Jennifer Garner's in it. That's pretty much all that's worth knowing.
All right.
And then we got Fury, which is...
This one I've seen previews for.
Yeah, the tank one with Brad Pitt, who's basically playing the same character he played in Inglourious Bastards.
Kind of, yeah.
What if this is a prequel to Inglourious Basterds? Wouldn't that be amazing? Tarantino crossover.
I keep hoping for Brad Pitt to take on a sequel with his character from Ocean's 11.
I never saw Ocean's 11, actually.
Not his character from Ocean's 12 or any of the others. He's a completely different guy. In Ocean's 11, on top of the attitude and everything, he's eating in every scene, and it's just kind of funny watching the different foods they come up with. And I've always thought that would be fun for more movies, you know? Like,
is that like the pineapple thing and How I Met Your Mother?
kind of, yeah, no. It's... Have you ever known those guys who, like, every time you meet them, they're hungry? And so they're either getting something to eat, or they're eating something, or they just finished eating something. Yeah. And you're like, you eat more during the day than anyone of your size should. Like, he's definitely one of these characters. So.
Well, it just has ridiculously good metabolism. Yeah, I know. I knew one of those two guys.
But Fury,
it looks
you know, I've been into war movies recently. It could be pretty good.
It looks like a decent war movie.
Yeah.
Better than some of the ones I've seen lately. Actually, has there been a war movie? Oh, that's right. There was Lone Survivor. We didn't review it, but I did see it.
Yes.
That was actually pretty good. But then we got The Judge.
The Judge. Oh, yes.
That's the Robert Downey Jr. movie with Robert Duvall.
I'm not entirely certain that Robert Downey Jr. is not Tony Stark. And therefore, I'm not entirely certain that this movie is outside the Marvel canon.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Except, no, it's technically outside because Tony Stark's father's dead in the original movie, so that kind of shoots your...
You know, no matter how it works out, if I go see this movie, that's what I'm going to have playing in my mind, is how can I link this to Marvel canon?
It'd be great if you like during the middle of a crowded theater at the very end, just go, yeah, you go, Tony, as long as you can. But I don't know, it looks decent. It has a very good cast, so it's like one of those things. I'm still gonna see it. It hasn't been getting great ratings on Rotten Tomato right now. I think it's like 50% right now, but so we'll see. I don't know. It's a very white cast, I noticed too.
Is
like,
it about to come out?
It's coming pretty soon. It's like it's not just white; it's like pale white. Like they look. Everyone looks like ghosts in this freaking movie. Nice. But and then we got this one. Like this is the Angelina Jolie directed movie, Unbroken. Okay. Have you seen anything for this?
No.
It actually looks kind of interesting. It's basically about a guy who was an Olympic track team member who goes into probably World War II because he gets captured by the Japanese.
Okay.
And he gets captured by them, and they basically the whole thing is like them trying to break his will, and him just hence the title Unbroken.
Yeah. And
I don't know, as far as I know, it's the first Angelina Jolie directed movie, and it actually looks fairly decent. So I'm actually kind of curious to see how it'll turn out.
All right.
A lot of these movies actually premiered at the festival, so it's kind of curious reading those reviews and kind of looking at them now.
Definitely.
But I'm curious about Unbroken. I'll go see it. It looks interesting. Right. If nothing else, it looks like it's a strong leading man. I don't think I've seen it much. It looks kind of like a relatively unknown actor.
I'll have to look up the trailers.
This one's more the blockbuster territory. Finally, we had 4 movies as the first blockbuster. Dracula Untold.
Every year we have to get another one.
Yeah. At least it's not. At least it doesn't sparkle.
It's true. It's true. They're gonna give us a break for you having to watch another Vampire Academy.
You're not gonna let me live that down, are you?
Never. All right. No, but honestly, yeah, I'm gonna see it.
I mean, it doesn't look that bad. At least not as bad as you think it would.
They never do.
Fair point. But still, the main star doesn't look awful. I mean,
first time I saw a trailer for I Frankenstein. I'm like, you know what? That could be okay.
And then we saw it.
That's point. Underworld. You know what? That could be okay.
The first one wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but then there were 3 more.
Okay, they all sucked. Yeah, but the first one I liked. But I don't know. It's one of those things. What if my Frankenstein fought this Dracula? How awesome that would be.
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't it though?
So, but as far as Dracula, I'm definitely gonna give it a shot.
My one big question mark though is Dracula was supposed to be the first vampire, so who the fuck is that in the cave?
Yep.
And where the hell did he come from? Yep. Just that one little thing asks really so many questions. He's supposed to be Satan or something? Is that what they're going for with that? I don't know. But, I don't know. Like I said, I'll still go see it. So, yeah. Final thoughts? I think we kind of said final thoughts.
Exactly.
I like this movie. I think it's very underrated, so I recommend it.
It's very well made. Not precisely my kind of movie.
Yeah.
But extremely well made. Mm-hmm. I'll give it that. But yeah.
So yeah.
You're gonna go see Maze Runner now.
Yeah, I got that in 45 minutes, so that's enough time for me to grab dinner.
It's tempting to say like some sort of horrible thing to you about it, just to let that plague your mind the entire time.
Doesn't even have to be true.
That being said, I already had an article published this week reviewing it, so
I didn't read it. So
no worries. I understand. You're calling other people. I get it.
all right, I guess we'll see you guys in a bit. Bye.
Yeah.